Well, we got an update on the farm. After a couple months of negotiating, we got it. We got a good price, and we're back. Jim's home on leave, so we took the drive, and we're up here with Jim and the family. He wants to see the farm before he's got to go back. He's going to be deployed in a couple weeks, so he's going to check this out. Okay, so here's some drone footage. I'm taking off right here. We're flying up right from the barn, and we're looking towards the hill. And I fly pretty high. I think I take the drone all the way up to like 400 feet. So everything is so tiny below. It'd be hard to see a person walking on these trails because I flew so high. But I didn't know how the drone would go, how it would operate up over that hill. So we're flying towards the hill, and right here in the middle screen is the main intersection of the trails. It breaks to the right and starts going up the hill, or it stays along the bottom if you just keep walking straight, parallel with the creek on the left side of the road of the screen there. You can go straight or turn right. Now if you turn right, that's pretty steep going up, and it goes all the way across to the right side of your screen. It does a switchback, and then it comes back along the ridge line. And as the drone is going up, you can see some of the other trails. Now those trails are kind of overgrown. That's from the logging company. Now there's the main road, right here. The main trail goes straight back towards the woods. To the right is the big field, and then on the right is a little field. It's about 3 acres, I believe, right here. And this is, I think, what we're going to put a nice tree stand and a food plot right here, in that field facing the hillside. There's another little feeder stream through the woods, and then the road, and then we own the other side of the road too. Those woods there. There's a guy's house up there on the right side of the road, and this road is a dead end road on the right of your screen. It goes up to the mountain and just kind of dead ends. But this field here, facing the woods right there, the deer seem to lay on this hillside right here. It is the sunny side, so I think they kind of just sit on that hillside and enjoy the sun and kind of watch the fields below them. Because every time we come walking up, we'll jump them and either run straight down across the field, or they'll go to the right there and into the main woods. Now that's the top of the hill. That's the highest point right there. And I'd cut the drone, but now we're right up. I flew right up to it. So this is the ridge line, and we're flying up the ridge line, and then the hill drops down on this back side. And this back side back here is kind of like a little hidden area back here. There's no roads back here. Up in the skyline in the distance, you can see the woods kind of wrap around this property. So nobody's coming in from that backside from a road. Now this little bowl back in here on the right, we've jumped deer back in here, and I feel like it's a little safe spot back in here, like up over the hill and on this backside. It is the cold side, so it's more of a shaded side. So I don't know how it would be for hunting, but it's definitely a nice quiet area for deer without people bothering them back there on the right. And we're going to fly along the ridge line, and you can see the trail right below us. That's the main trail, and it runs the ridge line. So we're going to fly back towards the creek and watch that ridge line. And to your right, the property ends right here on the right. You can kind of see where the woods start. So they cut the trees right up to that wood line right here. And then it starts dropping down again. The hillside kind of slopes down and goes towards the creek. Now here you can see Jim and Jay on the four-wheeler. They look like a little speck. They're on the trail in the middle of the screen, to the left of the screen, or almost towards the bottom of the screen. And right there, they're almost at the bottom of the screen, and they're gone. You could see the four-wheeler and the people standing right next to the four-wheeler, but that's how small they look. So now we're flying back towards the barn. The creek's on your right. That little thicket there on the right, it's kind of swampy and a little wet right here, but there's always deer tracks right there. So I think they kind of come down off the hill. They kind of stage in these trees along the thicket along the bottom, and then they walk to this cornfield, because this cornfield's still standing. It was never cut. That's a nice view of the creek. You could see all the switchbacks of the creek, and there's some deep fishing holes in there. And it is a rock bottom creek. It's not mud, so you can walk that creek with a nice pair of waders and do some fishing. And there are some trails from the farmer that cut right across the creek. You can drive your truck right across there because it is a rock bottom creek. And the property, we own these fields here, and I don't know what I'm going to do with these fields. They're kind of close to the other houses down here in the corner. And the farmer that uses the property now, he does plant them, but I think I'd rather see some trees all planted here, and instead of a big open field down here, maybe get a nice little oak thicket along the creek. There you can see the trails that cut across the creek right there to the other side. Now that field on the right side, that was part of the property too. Now here's the dead end road that runs along the property. That road right there is a dead end, and we own both sides of that road, the field on the left and that hillside on the right. And you can see that in the distance on the skyline there, that all those woods kind of wrap around the whole property. There is no roads back there, so the timber companies own that, paper companies, wood companies, and I think they just buy property and eventually they just cut all the woods out and sell the timber. So there's a lot of land. There's hundreds and hundreds of acres around this property, and I believe the bear and the deer and the turkey probably run these ridge lines, and this field is the only field around, and they come down into this field. Now that little field there in the center of the screen, that's about 3 acres, I believe, and that's the one I'm talking about, putting a tree stand and a nice food plot right there and try to pull them off of that hill. So that's the whole hillside, and now we're turning back towards the main field. It kind of looks flat in the picture, but it's really not. That's a really steep hill. And that's back towards the barn and a little storage area and the hay bales, and you can see the truck camper and my truck and Jay's truck parked there at the bottom of the screen. And I'm just coming back with the drone. Now the footage was a lot longer, but of course with the drone there is no microphone, so you're not getting any sound. It's kind of just a silent movie, and I kind of edited it to speed it up a little bit, but just a quick fly around of the property, and now we're going to come back with the drone. I'm kind of bringing it down easy, and I'm going to fly it right back towards the truck there. And let's see, here's our approach coming in. There's a nice shot of that cornfield. That's a pretty big cornfield, and all the deer are walking across these fields, and they're coming down to eat in that corn. And then they go back up the hill. And you can see there I am standing right in front of the truck, right by the front bumper. And when you fly this drone, the drone is so small, it actually disappears. You can't even see it with your eye. So when you're flying that far away, I can fly about 1.5 miles away. I'm watching just the screen of the iPad and using the camera of the drone so I know where I'm at, because you can't even see the drone when you're flying it. So you got to do it by video. And here comes Jay and Jim. Wonder if they made it. Well, what happened? Did you make it up there or what?
Got cut off. 2 different roads.
Yeah?
Yeah, we saw that spot back there where you could put the trees or down the pool. Couldn't get over top of them.
Oh, you couldn't make it all the way up?
Nah, the one.
We might have been able to, but it was kind of shitty.
Yeah, we'd have had to leave the 4-wheeler. They're all little trees.
Oh,
We'd have to leave the 4-wheeler.
They have those big little hills just south of the water.
You can't get up down those either?
We were going over.
We were jumping that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought the same bear tracks were there.
Really?
Early season.
Yeah.
But you never made it all the way to the top to take a look at the whole valley.
I want to see if there's some over here. Backtrack back up this side.
Yeah, we tried 3 different trails. One was too deep. One had too many trees under the snow, and the other one was cut off like brush. Somebody could.
Yeah,
Did you see tracks?
All there. There were deer tracks off there. They
walking
followed
the
the trail.
Are they?
Yeah, they're walking over. They're lazy.
Yeah, we got some stuff to check out, man. We gotta go look at the creek, and we gotta get up to that top.
I didn't bring that map with me.
Stupid.
He just had a little bit of talking. He heard us.
Oh yeah.
That far away.
How quiet it is on this hill.
Well, he was sitting like right here.
Yeah, he's up on the top sunbeam.
So this is one of the projects. It's like when the oil companies had this, they stored piping on this. You can see the racks under here. And there's just pipe after pipe just laying on these racks. And it's made from this pipe here. And I would like to do is use this either as a carport or as a shooting range. If I can take a couple sections of this and move it to that side of the field and shoot from the right all the way to the left onto the hill up there, and I can take another section of this and use it as a pistol range somewhere else. But all it is, it's only held in by that pipe right there to the ground. It's really nicely built. It's pretty big too. It's pretty long. And at the end of it, there's some kind of little metal structure right here. Like a little garage on this end of it. It's pretty long. Some of the metal needs to be replaced. I guess it's like a garage. And down there's the creek. We'll take a walk down there later. And then we've got the big pole barn, and then the little one up there up by the hill. And that's an old pump jack stand made out of concrete. And that's used to pump oil out of the ground, and that's who made these old roads. This used to be solid woods, and years ago oil companies put roads in and put these little pump jacks in the middle of the woods.
That's the polish.
It looks like that was thinned out at some point. So all that too, right?
Yep.
And it's going to, over the years of it growing, it's going to change.
Yeah.
Consistently change.
I'm gonna zoom up on that.
Like even some of them roads would be